You're watching Viral Stream TV.
I'm Tonya G. Welcome to the first edition of Viral Stream TV Reports for You. Throughout the year, we will bring you stories that affect us all, but from a Southern perspective from the great state of Mississippi. Today's story deals with a familiar foe, the state of Mississippi's prison system, the recent deaths, horrifying living conditions, and mistreatment of prisoners. These stories have garnered national attention, including federal lawsuits filed by hip-hop icon Jay-Z and others on behalf of inmates. In this first report, we'll hear firsthand from other inmates of the Mississippi State prisons and those that support prison reform in Mississippi. We started the prison reform rally held on January 24th, 2020 at the Mississippi State Capitol building in Jackson. We had an opportunity to speak with people that attended the rally and asked them why they came out to support.
I think it was important for me to come out here today because I was once an inmate at Mississippi Department of Corrections. I served 18 mandatory years. And I was subdued to those inhumane situations, you know what I'm saying? The lack of staff, it was just horrible. And I just come out here to support the brothers, support the rally, you know, because I think it was important and it has a spot in my heart, you know what I'm saying? I'm an activist for it, you know, that's why I'm here today.
The reason why we are here today at this rally is because we understand the grave misinjustice that has been taking place at MSP, which is the Mississippi State Penitentiary, specifically Parchman. Men, people, human beings, rights have been violated. Their civil and human rights have been violated. And then, of course, there are a lot of victims who have been stabbed and murdered. And so we're here to answer the cries of the community and to stand in solidarity of our brothers that are locked down.
Me, myself, I just got out of prison from doing 20 years and 7 months. I was sentenced to life in prison as a juvenile. And I'm just thankful that God blessed, you know, me to be able to get out here and continue to stress to the young youth today that, you know, crime don't pay and all that gang violence. I can remember when I first went in there, the first day I went in there, you know, the stuff that they talking about now, I had to go through that. Everybody got knives. Everybody, it's like, you know, it's a land of the lost. There's nothing to live for, you know. And it ain't no rehabilitation. You got to rehabilitate yourself. You got to have God in your life. And without that, you're not going to make it in there, man. When you wake up in the morning, if you wake up, you know, because you ain't have to did nothing to nobody in there, and guys will still walk up to you and stab you, you know. It's senseless stuff, man.
I'm at the rally because I'm here to bring awareness to the situation from being a former inmate and also to help people get justice, to introduce them to the right lawyers, to people that's really out here to help them. A lot of these lawyers in Jackson are gonna sell them out. A lot of people are not gonna hold these people accountable 6 months from now, a year from now. Nobody's talking about these guards taking money from these inmates. Nobody's trying to trace that down. The feds hadn't said anything. They won't step in. We all know these Jim Crow laws still live here today. I talked to a brother last night that was beat up by 4 police officers. He filed a lawsuit with this certain law firm. I won't give their name, but they haven't even filed this paperwork yet. It's been over 3 months. What's the holdup? What's the holdup for justice? We're rallying today, but we need to rally tomorrow and so forth and so forth. It just don't stop here.
The January 24th, 2020 prison reform rally was sponsored by hip-hop mogul Jay-Z and rapper Yo Gotti through the Roc Nation organization. Neither showed for the rally, but we did ask folks how they felt the entertainers' involvement would help the cause.
It was a very good move on their part, but I do know Spiro personally, the attorney I work for, knows Spiro personally, Mr. Moore personally, and we know Mr. Blackman personally. They're not going to be able to do what they need to do without the power that we have behind us. Well, I applaud their efforts. I do applaud their efforts. But we need Mississippi lawyers to take care of this problem, and we have them. We have built a coalition.
Them stepping up and coming forth is showing where their heart is really at. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to do what we got to do to get what we got to get, you know? And you take that and you turn that negative into a positive. You know, just like I tell guys in the streets all the time, even if though you're in the streets, is that what you're doing? Is that what you do? But allocate those funds to something positive, you know what I'm saying? And use it for the betterment. Don't stay in the streets. You know, use it for the good and get out the way.
They are in like a higher ranking than a lot of us. So with that being said, you know, they can publicly, you know, speak on it, like seeing Yandy here and all those people, other people here, that really kind of like shed a lot of light here for us.
State officials, including former Governor Phil Bryant, said the gangs are to blame for the recent problems in state prisons. Here are some of the reactions to former Governor Bryant's statements.
You're talking about the same governor who said that if a black man got elected, it would be 1,000 years of darkness. So until we have a conversation about that, we can't even talk logic about a racist governor, right? When the governor says that it's the inmates that are responsible for these stabbings, we have to talk about the real issue. First of all, let's talk about mass incarceration. If we want to talk about it, let's talk about the slavery that exists today in America, 13th, right? Let's talk about a racist governor who known about these things and done nothing. He remains silent as these issues continue to brew. We can prove in federal court that the state of Mississippi had knowledge about these stabbings. We can prove in federal court that the state had knowledge of these guards being corrupt. There's a guard that is being held in witness protection program. The same guard allegedly who allowed these stabbings to take place. She's in hiding now. Where is she at? Why hasn't she been criminally charged? Those are questions we gotta ask.
I feel like with Governor Bryant, if you don't put yourself in those shoes, you're gonna never know. So he don't know what it's like to not be out here with like young black boys and not have you know, the money at home, or, you know, your mother is struggling. He may not never been through that. So he don't know about why these gangs was created. Like they said up there, gangs was created to protect our sisters and brothers from a lot of, you know, evil stuff that was going on in the 60s and 70s. So he don't know.
Gang wasn't built upon gang banging and killing each other. It was about uplifting the fallen humanity. It was about uplifting your neighborhood, building your community up. So all that gang violence, feeling like because he wear this color, you wear that color, that ain't what it's based about. Kids growing up thinking that you're supposed to be against one another when it's not like that. That wasn't what gang was built upon. Or you can say organizations. You know, that's not what it's about.
My son's name is Johnny Holmes. He was at Unit 29 G building, New Year's Eve. He was stabbed in his eye. To this day, we have not talked to him, have not been in contact with him. All we know is they say he gonna lose his eye. They won't talk to us about him. We can't get a visit. We can't even send anybody to talk to him because they don't want us to know what's going on with him. But we're gonna find out.
You can teach people to have empathy, but to have compassion is godly. And no matter what these people have done, and might I say, everybody in there is not guilty, okay? No matter what the person has done, they've had their day in court. That still does not constitute them having these deplorable conditions and being okay with it.
We talked about the governor. Governor Bryant also blamed gangs. On January 11th, I got an email from Representative Jarvis Dortch. They had taken a delegation of House members down to Parchman. It included Robert Johnson and Sonia Williams and a few other people. Representative Dortch said people blame the gangs, but we must have the staff to manage the situation. We as legislators have not lived up to our responsibility.
The lack of correction officers has been one of the main complaints lodged against the state of Mississippi in this recent prison reform movement. Here are some of the comments dealing with the staffing problems.
Of course, some of the contraband that's getting into prisons because of the guards, because they're getting paid, and of course they need that money because they are getting underpaid. I don't know if giving them a pay raise is going to stop the contraband or stop the things that's going on in the prison. I don't think that's going to solve the problem.
Let me just say, we have a membership of about 175 members in the Department of Correction, but the work that we do benefit all of them when we're successful. We're hearing from our workers on a daily basis. You can only imagine the number of workers who have now left the Department of Correction because of many issues. And one has been pay, one has been working condition, one has been lack of respect from the leaders of this state when it comes to their pay, their benefits, and their rights on the job. We have a number of workers who lost their state personnel board protection, which allows them to have due process rights. That means they have a property right to their job after they have served a 1-year probationary period, and that means you cannot be fired without just cause. Well, the state legislature saw fit to remove that protection from the workers, which will allow them to be terminated for good reason, bad reason, or no reason at all. So it's working under that kind of stress that have gotten our workers really looking for jobs, employment elsewhere.
Representative Dortch said, what we saw today at Parchman was a breeding ground for a bad situation. Corrections officers we spoke to said each unit should have 4 officers to 64 people. What we had this past weekend was 2 people for 128. That's like half of what you need. And I don't think anyone can appreciate how bad the situation is. And we had less than 4 staffers for 128 inmates, and likely the staff managing were women.
Yes.
When I was incarcerated, you know, majority of the staff were women, you know, and I was kind of found that was kind of eerie to me. You know, was no manpower, because if anything happened, what they gonna do? What can they do? They're females, you know what I mean? And as far as them being underpaid, I believe that it's true. Underpaid and understaffed. I feel like if you're gonna run an institution, you should at least have the available funds to pay the officers who want to work. If you're not gonna pay me, I'm not gonna do my job.
Criminal justice reform has been on the rise nationwide, including President Trump's bipartisan 2018 bill, the First Step Act. The tide in the country has changed, and many Americans believe that nonviolent drug crimes should be dealt with in other ways. This is what people had to say at the January 24th rally.
I feel like that's foolish. I was affected last year, so, you know, and it was just about marijuana. And I was like, wait, I have to pay out $5,000 for 2 grams a week? I really feel like they should do away with it for the ones that's in there for nonviolence. It's community service. You know, it's other places or other things that they can do to serve their time for that, you know? I mean, they decriminalize it, then that'll be better either way.
Nonviolent criminals that's there for low-level drug crimes such as cannabis, which is a God-given, that God put it on this earth. They're putting people in prison for it, and they're putting them in there with rapists, murderers, and thieves. Exactly. They're treating them like that. They're treating them like they are murderers, but they're putting them in with murderers. Low-level crime, low-level offenders should never, ever be put into a cell with a high-level offender, ever. There's no questions about that.
Some of these people are in here for non-violent offenses. Some of these people are in here for selling weed to feed their kids. But now the white man sells weed legally and ain't nobody saying nothing. Come on, man. We need to be fair across the board. And I hate to say this, but I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you since you asked me. It's time for us women to get mad enough. See, when we get mad, that's when that's when things are gonna change. When we get tired of them doing this to our husbands, our sons, our fathers. You understand? When we get tired, it's a whole different climate. And we're tired. You can't do this to our people. I don't care what they did. I understand everybody makes mistakes. And he who judges, we already know the end of that. We'll be judged. We're all human. We all make mistakes. How many people are supposed to be in prison right now and just isn't?
It's a business. They can't make money unless the prisoners stay in prison. This is why they have the prison in the first place, is because once they get all of these black men in prison, then they just continue to make money. See, the federal government match all of the funds that Mississippi raises. If Mississippi is spending $300 million, they get $350 million from the federal government. That's money. All of these legislators, they get their cut of that. See, by vending machines, phone machines, all of this kind of stuff. So they make money off of this. This is a big business. And the black people, they don't understand that. And when the black guys go out and commit these crimes, they don't understand. They go into prison. They set all of these laws in Mississippi to victimize the black man in every way possible. And the black man doesn't even know it. But when they go through my process, they become rational thinking individuals and they don't end up in prison. Pretty soon they catch another crime or either they violate probation. They got them right back in here. So they make money off it. It's a continuous money-making thing that the white legislators there. They don't care about these black people in prison. This is just a new form of slavery to get you in there and you don't get out.
First of all, the $3,000 a month it keeps to keep somebody in Parchment, they can release nonviolent offenders, and if they really feel like they need to track them, put them on an ankle bracelet, because that costs $300 a month, not $3,000 a month, and you're going to free up a whole lot of money to take care of the prisons if you get rid of people. Marijuana, seriously, it is ridiculous that we have anybody serving time for marijuana when 97% of the people in this state believe it ought to be legal. Why are they in jail? But release nonviolent offenders and come back and take care of the ones who are violent offenders with programs and a living condition that will not want them to get out and recommit crimes and learn how to commit better crimes. My point is, when you have no self-respect because of the way you've been raised or you've been treated or the way your upbringing, when you have no self-respect, how are you going to respect another man's life when you don't respect your own?
Is Mississippi prison reform and criminal justice a black or white issue? Do black lawmakers have a responsibility to the black community, since the majority of Mississippians incarcerated are African American? This is what the participants at the rally had to say.
I've talked to some of them. I've even sent them a process. I've told them what the issue was. Let's get behind getting the inmate fixed. And I sent them a process. Never hear from them again. So they're in it with the white ones. Once they get these positions, they're in there for themselves, see? They're in there to make their money and love themselves in the world, and that's what they do. And they don't care about these black men in prison either. So they are in there with the white guys. If they would step up and speak up, they would do it. But they don't care either. So if they don't ever get this process that I have to the inmates, then this prison system will never be fixed.
Well, I feel like basically now that it's been brought to the forefront that the legislators, they make the laws. So that's where you really got to start at. You know what I'm saying? Then you work your way on up. Because on the field, all they do is sign paperwork. You know what I mean? So we got to attack them, the Senate legislator, and work up from there. As far as them trying to assist us, well, I can say, I don't know. I really can't say what they're trying to do because I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen but a bunch of talk. I believe in action. You got to show me. You can tell me something all day, but you got to show me what you're doing.
I went to school for criminal justice my first 2 years of college. If I feel like I can't help people or help my people, then why am I trying to be in that position? I'm trying to be somewhere where I can be able to help my community benefit from whatever I do. Right now I'm in culinary and real estate. My goal was to be able to help people who are hungry and homeless. So if you're in a position and you're high up, help your people, especially our black people. We've been fighting too long to be in these positions, and for us to get them and not do the right thing with it, it's like we're taking our education and say, well, I got mine, my sister don't got hers, and I don't care. That's not right. That's not right.
What you have to do in order to affect true change is you have to visit your capital. With people that you elect, you have to hold them accountable. There has to be accountability and there has to be transparency. But most importantly, if we want anything to change, it doesn't end with a celebrity showing up, right? Using people as a publicity stunt for a movie that they got coming out. But we ain't gonna talk about that. If we want to make true change, you have to go right in this building that I just left out of.
We need to get the right people elected, people who believe in a government of, for, and by the people. And if you keep electing people who do not have your best interests at heart, see, a lot of people, when they see a state lawmaker, oh, that's Representative so-and-so, that's, well, just like when they're kissing your baby and asking for your vote, they are doing the same thing you do when you go to your job in the morning and you clock in, you go to work. So they are saying, let me go to Jackson, enact legislation that will better my constituents. But people are not communicating. They don't know they have a right to tell that lawman. How can you judge them? How can you hold them accountable when you haven't asked them to do anything?
When you think about how long Mississippi has dealt with these issues in the prison system, You understand change can only take place when the community, businesses, and churches get involved so that lawmakers can truly see this is an issue Mississippians really want fixed. Gave those at the rally the chance to talk to the community at large regarding this issue.
You know, they don't care about our black people. Because if they did, they'd be out here today. These streets will be full of us because they can tell their church members, hey, let's come out today and support these people. But they don't know we got people living in slavery in Parchment. Slavery is over with. So if these were legit preachers here, Jackson, all over the world, they would be here today, standing for what's right.
They send them in prison for simple stuff. So you got to give everybody a chance just like me. I done been locked up, so it is what it is. But it don't matter if you've been locked up, you're still human, period. It still goes away. You got to give these people a chance, especially black people. Talk to them, motivate them, encourage them to live their life right. I'm just saying, you got to talk to these young men instead of just talking about them. Talk to them, leave them the righteous way. And that's all I can say to you, bro.
There's this idea that we don't want to buck the system. You have to remember that the same churches that remain silent during our struggle are the same ones that profit off of us each week. Okay. Second of all, churches are 501c3s. So ain't no one really gonna buck the system because you take away from that spoon-fed handle right there. And so I think that the black pastors in particular have a moral obligation. I think that the black pastors have a social responsibility to speak out and stand up for those who whose voices have been muffled and silenced.
Well, they got to come out. Just like this rally today, you got to start right here. We got to come out. We have to have a voice. We have to let the legislators and the politicians know that we're not going to tolerate this. We have to come. We have to march like they did in the 60s with King and everybody. We have to march. We have to come out and let them hear our verse. And today starts the first day with the rally. And we have to do this consecutive to the feel what we're saying and what we're doing for the men and women in the prisons here in Mississippi.
The church has been cut off from the prison systems. There has not been a chaplain up there for over 2 years.
Back in August of last year, I had a news conference at the state capitol. At that time, it was about 14 inmates who had died, most of natural causes. And I had their pictures in the front of the podium along with the black roses and say, you know, I was asking lawmakers then, what will it take for you to address the issues within the Department of Corrections?
The pastors need to inform the church members and the churches need to come together and to form a coalition, churches across the state. And that will give more power, so people have more power to fight the injustice system that we are dealing with. Because this just didn't start, it's been going on for hundreds of years. And it's gonna take everybody to bring about a change.
As we wrap up this segment on Mississippi Prison Reform 2020, we want to thank you for watching our first story on Viral Stream TV Reports for You. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Viral Stream TV. Hit the notification button to be reminded of future content from our various shows on our YouTube channel, Viral Stream TV. Be well.
Click here.
Hello and welcome to Viral Stream TV, the chat room. Today my guest is Shamika Reed, founder of Young, Gifted, and Empowered. She's here to tell us more about that business, how you can get involved in the upcoming 2020 Young, Gifted, and Empowered Awards. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Tonya.
We appreciate you being here. So the first question here, you started YG&E in 2015 to help remedy negative stories about Blacks in the media. Just tell us how that process began for you, just what it took to create this.
Okay, well, I'll have to go back a little bit before 2015 when I was in DC and we had just heard the verdict from the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman trial, and he was found not guilty. And I just remember feeling helpless, not feeling like I had a lot to offer our community at that time. And then I also thought about how they tried to portray Trayvon as a predator and how
a thug.
Yeah, and how they portrayed his friends in the media. And I was just like, you know, someone needs to be telling different stories about African Americans in the media. And when I got back home from DC, I kind of started brainstorming on how would I help, what would my contribution be to help to change the narrative, to tell the stories, to be the change I wanted to see in the world. And I started thinking about, and then I was watching the media here locally, and I started thinking about all the stories I was seeing in our local media, and I'm just like, I know people that are doing amazing things, and those stories never get told. So I decided I wanted to tell those stories. I wanted to be the change agent that began to tell stories about young professionals, young African-American professionals who were from Mississippi or had Mississippi ties. And there you have Young, Gifted, and Empowered. That's how it came about.
I love that. I love that. So is this a nonprofit organization? Is it just an award show? What is YG&E?
So we started off as an award show, and we recently gained our nonprofit status. So there's, thank you. And so there's some things that we definitely want to do. Again, the biggest part of it is the award show, where we honor young professionals in art, education, innovation, leadership, philanthropy, and entrepreneurship. But last year in 2019, we introduced the Young, Gifted, and Empowered Youth Summit. And now in 2020, in addition to the award show and the Youth Summit, this year we're doing the art exhibit, because we have now over 30 different stories that we've told. And,
oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so now we can, you know, not just have those stories at one time, at one point in time, but now we can spread those out and share them out with the community.
Exactly. So you feel like YG&E has contributed to changing that narrative. You feel like you're on track, that you're gaining the recognition that you need to change those stories?
I absolutely,
or change the narrative?
I do believe that we've played a part in that. A lot of the honorees come back and tell me, you know, before you told my story, no one knew who I was in the community. Or, you know, after you told my story, I got, you know, a lot of people began to reach out to me from the media and speaking engagements. And then not only that, we've built a cohort of leaders that now network amongst themselves. Some of our past honorees from 2015 are doing things with honorees from 2017. And they met through YG&E, and now they're doing business together. They're out doing community service work together. So it really has become like a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And so
that's amazing. I mean, that's you really can't beat that. So you mentioned that the honorees are champions in art, education, innovation, leadership, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. Why were those subjects important in choosing honorees?
I thought that gave a holistic view, or it just kind of covered things holistically in the areas that we're really thriving in. And when we say art, we mean entertainment, we mean, you know, authors. And so I felt like that covered a wide range of areas that African Americans are really thriving in. And some areas get more recognition than others. Like, you know, a lot of the people that are in the art industry from Mississippi. But do you know the people that are in innovation? Like, you know, Ashley Cephas, whose startup company was acquired by Amazon, or Sheena Allen, who has now online banking. So sometimes, sometimes those stories don't get told. So we wanted to make sure that we were covering a wide range of areas, to make sure we were telling a wide range of stories.
Talk about Ashley Cephas a little bit, and what she created and what exactly was acquired from Amazon. What did she do?
She created a part finder. So let's say you have some screws or something, and you need the little nut part that goes on the screw, and you can't find it. You take a picture of it and you upload it, and Amazon will find it for you. That's what Amazon acquired from
That
her.
is amazing. That is amazing. So how do you go about choosing the honorees? You kind of keep your eyes and ears open? Do you have a team helping you? How do you select them?
Absolutely. Starting off, it was just me. And after the first year, I decided I did not want to be the only person making these decisions. And so what happened is after the first year, I began to invite the past honorees to help me select.
That's neat.
Yes, help us to select applicants. And so we have, in every area, we try to have at least 3 applicants, and we send them an application. They complete the application, and then we come back together as a committee and vote on it. But over the year, we're watching people. I've already started screenshotting
For
things.
2021?
Yeah, of people that I'm like, oh my God, you know, we need to highlight this person, or I need to bring it to the committee. So it is definitely a committee effort. And I have a great committee. I try not to tell people who they are.
Okay. That was going to be one of my questions, if you could talk about the 2020 nominees, but we'll get to that.
The 2020 nominees I can tell you.
Okay, gotcha.
But like the selection committee, I kind of keep that,
you want to keep that to yourself.
Yeah, because I want it to be organic. I want them, I did not want to make it a popularity contest.
Exactly.
And nothing's wrong with being popular. Right. I don't have a problem with that, but I wanted to make sure that we were choosing people.
Hi, I'm Tonya G. Tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Tonya G Show. Let's talk health, politics, business, and more. Interested in being a guest? Email us at viralstreamtv.com. Streaming live on Viral Stream TV on YouTube, powered by the KPG agency. The Tonya G Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on BDAY 99.1. Yes, we are back again. Welcome to the Tonya G Show. Today my guest is RAFAEL Green Esquire with GILMER and Green Legal Group, PLLC. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we are excited to talk about law today. So what areas of law does GILMER and Green practice?
All right, well, we got 2 different, I would say, sections of the law firm. I do most of the personal injury law. That's car wrecks, slip and falls, and then I do some medical malpractice cases. The other sector of the law firm would be the domestic relations side of it, family law, deal with divorces, deal with child support issues, and then we also do some probate work where we end up doing wills, some end-of-life deals where if you want to have health care alternatives in place, we do those as well. We've been doing it for about 1.5 years now. It feels like we've been in 10 years. But, I enjoy the work I do. I believe that I've been placed on this path for a reason. And it's been very, very life-changing for me.
Talk about some of, what do the cases look like? So if you are dealing with an automobile collision, what would that case look like?
Okay, so you got different automobile cases. They can range from a minor accident to a catastrophic accident. Minor accident is where you have a rear-end collision and somebody's going at a low rate of speed. You may not feel that pain initially when the accident happens, but a couple days later, sometimes your body gets inflamed, your back starts to hurt, and you need to be compensated for it.
Right.
All right. If somebody is at fault, somebody is not paying attention, they hit you from the back, you should be compensated for it. And then we got the catastrophic accidents where a professional driver who's driving an 18-wheeler or a school bus, for example, has a professional driver's license and does something that he is not supposed to do. They have rules that they have to abide by, not just the signals, not just the stop signs, but they have rules they have to abide by as professional drivers. And when they don't abide by those rules and they hit somebody, especially in a school bus or 18-wheeler, it causes, for the most part, catastrophic injuries. You have clients who sometimes lose the movement of their limbs. Sometimes, they cannot, have concussions after it. So we just deal with, a lot of different areas. When you're talking about car wrecks, they can range between minor to catastrophic, and we deal with all of them.
Okay. So you also, under personal injury falls insurance bad faith, you have nursing home abuse, premise liability. Talk about insurance bad faith.
All right. So insurance bad faith is when you pay your insurance policy every month. All right. I'll give you an example. You're in a car accident. Somebody hits you, and they don't have insurance. Well, you have something that most people pay is called uninsured motorist insurance. So if you're injured and that person doesn't have have insurance, you have a way where you can be recouped for your damages.
Really?
All right, yes. That's called uninsured motorist insurance. And when you file the claim with the uninsured motorist insurance, they pay for your car, and they should pay for your medical bills and your damages, including pain and suffering. All right, so when they do not do that, and they do not, say for instance, they deny the claim, and it's for no apparent reason, that's bad faith. And you know, when you're talking about bad faith, it really ranges across the spectrum. But in general, if they deny your claim and they have no good basis for denying your claim, and it's your insurance, that's what we call bad faith. And you don't get a whole lot of those cases, because those bad faith cases, they end up sometimes being multi-million-dollar cases, because the judge will sometimes allow punitive damages. Punitive damages is when you can punish that company or that person for not doing what they were supposed to do. All right, so if they were supposed to accept that claim, they were supposed to pay for those damages, pay for that pain and suffering, pay for that vehicle to be fixed, and they don't do it, the judge can allow punitive damages. If the judge allows punitive damages, they can range from $0 to $1 million. So bad faith cases, I think at this point insurance companies are trying to do a little bit better job in it, but I don't give insurance companies any credit because they they take your money every month, and when it gets to the point where you need them, in most instances they just don't come through. You would think that they're on your side. You would think they're looking out for your best interests, but that's not always the case.
So there are rights that people have that have the insurance that get hit by someone who doesn't, and I don't think a lot of people know that. I think you think it's just a lost cause.
Most definitely. And like I said, you don't know those things unless you ask. You're paying monthly for liability. You're paying monthly for collision. You're paying monthly for uninsured and underinsured motorists. Underinsured motorist insurance is when somebody has a $25,000, whatever policy they may have, but it's not enough to compensate you for your injuries.
Hold that thought, Mr. Green. Yeah. Don't forget, we are live streaming on YouTube at Viral Stream TV. Share the live stream link with your families and friends outside of the Jackson metro area. We'll be right back.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
Looking for a new career that offers flexibility and endless earning potential? Explore a career in final expense. No experience necessary, health insurance benefits, residual income, and more. Now hiring agency managers and agents. Visit thekpgagency.com or call 601-500-2751 to get started today. COVID has shown us life is not promised. It does not discriminate against race, gender, or age. Do you have life insurance coverage to protect you and your loved ones? Visit thekpgagency.com or call 601-500-2751 to start your policy today. Streaming live on Viral Stream TV on YouTube, powered by the KPG Agency. The Tonya G Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on BDAY 99.1.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
Yes, we are back live with my guest, Mr. RAFAEL Green, Esquire. We were talking about insurance bad faith. He has taught me some things I didn't know about. Continue with your point.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying for those insurance policies, and it's good for you to know what you're paying for. You want to know how these things work. So if you're in an accident and you don't understand how they work, give an attorney a call. Give me a call. And in most instances, there is some way for you to recover. Here in Jackson, I don't know what it is, but a lot of people are riding around without insurance. All right, and when most people, they get hit by somebody and they don't pull out an insurance card, they get a ticket from a cop, and they go about their business, end up paying that ticket maybe a year later.
Now what's the recourse? Not to mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
What's the recourse if you hit one of these raggedy potholes that the city of Jackson has now? How can we be compensated for that?
You go out and buy a new tire and buy some new rims. No, there is a way for you to be compensated. You can, in some instances, sue the city or sue the municipality where the pothole is located. But you have to be able to show that pothole has been there for a long amount of time and the city knew about it. They had to be put on notice. Now, if they were not put on notice, then you may not be able to recover. But there is a hotline here in Jackson that you can call if you run into a pothole.
You better give up the nuggets, Mr. Green.
I'm telling
What is it?
I don't know the number, but there is a number that you can call. Go to the City of Jackson website, and it has its own section. But call that number, report where you hit the pothole, exactly where it was. They put it in a database, and then when somebody else runs over that pothole and they may have worse damage than you, they can sue the city because the city was put on notice about it. All right. Maybe a few more things that you may have to have, but putting the city on notice. Not just Jackson, but if you roll in Madison, the same thing.
Exactly.
Make sure you put Madison on notice that you ran into a pothole and you had to buy a new tire and a new rim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about some of your personal injury cases that you take on. So there's premise liability. You have apartment complex attacks and gas stations attacks.
And let me tell you that it's unfortunate, but over the past year, the law has changed on premises liability. Whereas you would be able to sue a apartment complex for being robbed on that apartment complex if the apartment complex knew about the atmosphere of violence or the things that had happened on there before, now you can't. The law has changed, and it's changed in a way to protect the landowner. The law is actually called the Landowner Protection Act. So those cases over the past few years were hot cases. Here in Jackson, in certain areas, the crime was bad, and these apartment complexes, they knew about the stuff happening on these complexes, but were not warning the tenants, were not hiring security guards, were not putting up cameras, were not putting up gates at the front. So you had all types of things happening, and they knew about it. So in those instances where they knew about it or should have known about it, you were able to sue them and recover for your damages. In most instances, mental damages. But you've seen some where I think a young woman was raped at one apartment complex, and she was able to get some recourse because the law was what it was then. But now it's so tough. It's tough. They've made it tough for us to get any recourse for individuals who've been robbed at apartment complexes, gas stations, or on any property, especially if the owner was put on notice. Now, what they did was they changed the portion and said, now, we can allow it if the owner basically had something to do with it. All right. And then if they had something to do with it, they would have had to have 3 incidents like that on the property prior to then. So it's really no way you can recoup, on those type of cases. Now, if we get a case where it kind of meets their criteria, I try it.
I got you.
Okay. Because I believe our people, they need to be recouped for their injuries. And, I wouldn't be an attorney if it was not for pushing the limit. All right? So when you come in and you got the case and you got the set of facts, I'll file a lawsuit and we'll let the judge decide.
You better do it. You better do it. So tell us, how has your practice been affected since COVID?
Oh, man. You would think that COVID has, would have changed the practice for the worse. We would have been at home. People wouldn't need help. But now, more than ever, we're playing the role of a counselor. All right, people are calling about domestic cases every day, divorces.
So that's on the rise.
Oh, that is yes, it's on the rise. They come in, and they need to hear from us. They need to know what can be done to see their kid, what can be done to get out of this relationship, what can be done to help their family members in the time of need. You got so many family members who they're gone now.
Right.
And they were gone before they could get anything in place. So you got people coming in for wills now. They're coming in for these healthcare directives.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Don't forget to watch us streaming live on YouTube at Viral Stream TV, powered by the KPGagency.com. We help people with life insurance.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1.
Hi, I'm Tonya Gray with your Insurance Minute. People buy life insurance for a number of reasons. One of the primary reasons is providing income protection for a family in the event a breadwinner passes away. Another reason is providing financial security for children should something happen to the parents.
Life insurance can even be a way to offset estate taxes in large estate plans. Another reason some people buy life insurance is to save for retirement. The cash value in some permanent life insurance policies can grow tax deferred, and the cash value can be borrowed at a later date. When using life insurance as a cash savings vehicle, it is important to understand the internal fees and guarantees that are built into the policy. Life insurance should be used as a tool for financial protection in case of death. The KPG agency's focus is to provide financial protection in the most cost-effective way possible. Contact us today to start your policy.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
Yes, we're back with my guest, Mr. RAFAEL Green, Esquire. You were speaking about how COVID has affected your business, and you kind of turned into counselors here to...
Yeah. I mean, you know, and I say how it's affected the business, but, you know, that's the question, but it has affected lives personally.
Right.
Not just, you know, the people who come in, but it's affected our lives. Like, we have to take a different, you know, approach to practicing law. You know, with all the guidelines in place, we want to make sure that everybody who comes in is safe. But back to what I was saying about, you know, people putting things into place now, wills, people wanting out of marriages because they're confined in a home, or you know, people needing child support in times like this, or fathers or mothers who need visitation during times like this. You got a lot of people who think, you know, because COVID is going on, you don't have to abide by a visitation schedule and allow another parent to see a child.
The law is still the law.
The law is still the law. Those orders are still in place, and you can be held in contempt if you do not abide by the orders. So, you know, COVID has changed things, and like I said, I thought things would slow down, but things have been
business has picked up.
Business has picked up.
Well, that's a blessing.
It is. It is a blessing. You know, and I've just learned, you know, you got to have balance in everything you do.
Yes.
And in this instance with COVID, I know we want to make sure we take precautions, make sure that we are available for our clients, and we are, but we want to make sure everybody is safe. So we've implemented some things in the office where we got to have, you know, schedules, certain times you just can't pop up anymore.
Gotcha.
We do
appointments.
Exactly. We do video conferences now. You know, we do video depositions now. Sometimes I conduct hearings by video. So the practice of law has changed in and of itself. Yes. And you got to be able to change with the times. You know, so I think it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
You know, and makes things a lot easier when I can, you know, be at my desk.
Right.
And I can have my suit on up top.
Right.
And then, you know, I can actually be at a hearing and I can get something done there and then get back to work when it's over with.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about just your background, how you got into law. So you established Gilmer and Green, you said a year ago? You've only been...
It was about a year and a half ago. I used to work for a law firm called Precious Martin and Associates. And I was there for about 5 years, I believe. Precious died in 2014. I became an attorney in 2014. Judge Crystal Wise Martin, she took over the firm. She was there up until about the end of 2018, became judge 2019, and we started our practice. You know, a lot of the clients that used to go to Precious Martin, they call us now. You know, so it's been a steady deal. It has not been, you know, any slowdown of the practice.
Where'd you go to law school? I
went to MC Law. It's downtown Jackson, Mississippi. I started there 2009, the summer. Graduated 2012. Prior to that, I went to Jackson State University. I don't want to leave them out. I love.
I know about I love. I also went undergrad at Jackson State.
Okay, good deal.
Was law something that you always wanted to get into? How did you just, get into this field?
And this is what I tell everybody. It's kind of the path that God put me on, just to be real with you. At a certain point in time, I did not know what I wanted to do. I graduated from high school with a 1.9 GPA. I'm not proud of that. I played around in high school, and but for the people that were around me, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So went to Jackson State, did a little bit better, but I still had some folks in my corner who were pushing me to to want more. I got an aunt who's an attorney. And, you know, I saw her, and I was like, okay, well, maybe there's something I can do. I like arguing, you know, I like politics. And then, you know, as a kid, you look at, you know, the practice of law and you think about money. And I'm like, yeah, I want to make some money. I want to make some money. It's not a lot of money in it. You would think it's a lot, but it's not. But ended up, you know, talking to my aunt about it. It ended up being, you know, something that I kind of wanted to do. Then I started working for this law firm, Maxie One, PLLC. They did nursing home law. And I got a chance to move around in some circles that I had never been in my life. And it just kind of thrust me into the area. Probably wouldn't have gotten law school if I didn't know some folks. So, you know, it's just about where God, you know, has put me in life. And in this instance, he set me up. And I'm on that path, and it's been working for the better. So
the GPA is not indicative of the intellect, because law school is challenging. Did you find it challenging? Was it difficult for you?
No. Now, school in general throughout my life has not been anything that's tough. It's because I was
just
lazy.
Didn't want to.
Didn't want to do it. It wasn't challenging enough. So I just kind of zoned out in certain instances and didn't do work. Got caught up in the hoopla. And that's what I would tell any young folk, you know, young people today. Make sure that you are focused. Make sure that you stay on task. But like I said, when I got to law school, it was easy starting out.
Hold that thought, Mr. Green. Don't forget, we are live streaming on YouTube at Viral Stream TV. Share the live stream link with your family and friends outside of the Jackson metro area. We'll be right back.
Y'all keep it locked. It's BDAY 99.1. All right, y'all, check this out. BDAY 99.1 was on the scene today at the Pizza Shack, and we want to thank everybody that showed up and showed out with us. Big shouts out to Black Voters Matter, One Voice, the Poor People's Campaign, and GILMER and Green Legal Group. But you know it doesn't stop here. It's going down next Wednesday, September 16th at Zoe's Restaurant, 5350 North State Street in Jacktown. Represent once again with us and help us register people to vote at Zoe's Restaurant next Wednesday, September 16th in Jacktown. BDAY 99.1.
The Tonya G Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. on BDAY 99.1.
You're watching Viral Stream TV.
We're back live with my guest, Mr. RAFAEL Green. Yes, you were trying to encourage the young people to tell them, don't get discouraged.
Encourage the young people, yeah. I was just, you know, saying not to get discouraged. Make sure that you stay focused and make sure that, you know, anything you put your mind to, you can attain. You know, I think at a certain point, it starts with us, the folks who are here. If they see us, then they can be us.
Right.
So we make it our, you know, our business to make sure that we're out in the community and folks can see us. I think we really refer to ourselves as the community-based law firm.
That's beautiful.
You know, we're here for the community. The community is regular folks that come in our office. It's not a lot of sophisticated people that come in there. It's regular people. So when they see us, you know, they let young folks know they can be us.
That's right. Let's talk a little bit about those community events that you all do. The commercial just talked about BDAY 99.1, the Poor People's Campaign. Talk about what you guys are doing every Wednesday at different local eateries here.
Right. So I had a good friend come to me with the idea, and I thought it was a wonderful idea. Because I like food, and I know when somebody said they're giving away free food, I may go down. Exactly. So yeah, we're giving away free food on Wednesdays, every Wednesday September, for folks who come out and get registered to vote. We're gonna pay for the lunch. And
you can't beat that,
and
people.
I'm telling you, and you know, now more than ever, I believe that folks need to be registered to vote.
Absolutely.
Because you got the election coming up, and it's certain people we got to get out of office. It's a certain person.
Well, since you're headed that way, what are your thoughts on the presidential nominees, the candidates? You know.
So I only think there's one candidate, okay, and it's Joe Biden. I don't even acknowledge the other candidate. I could sit here and say how Joe Biden has done this in the past and how he hasn't been for, you know, black people and this, that, and the other. Hey, at this point, I know that Joe Biden is going to be a whole lot better than what we've had with Donald Trump. And I don't like to say his name, but yeah.
I had someone refer to him as 46 minus 1.
Okay, they don't even want to call him 45. Yeah, we had somebody come in the office and say, yeah, I normally call them 45, but today, for today, I'll call him Trump. Okay.
I got you.
But yeah, so, there's only one candidate in my mind. It's Joe Biden. And I think everybody needs to get out and vote, for Joe Biden. Because we got to get this joke out of office.
Have y'all registered, quite a few people?
Yeah, I think at the last one we had about 7 or 8 folks come out and get registered, and that's good.
Yeah.
If it's one, I'm fine with that. I mean, that's just one more person than we had.
Why do you think we don't vote like we should?
It's because we don't know how it affects us. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I think local politics probably plays more of a role in our everyday lives than national politics. Okay.
Indeed.
So once we realize that these local elections really mean something,
yes,
and that's what we need. That's why we need to register to vote.
Yes,
it's for these local elections. All right, because the folks who board of supervisors, city councilmen, mayors,
absolutely,
representatives, senators,
yes,
all of these
speak it.
These people, right? They are in place and they are affecting your everyday life.
Every day.
And you just don't know it.
Yeah.
So, being educated about it is what will change the lives of people. And maybe this the thing, instead of saying let's register everybody to vote, maybe we should start doing educationals.
That would be good.
Letting folks know what these positions are.
Because I'm not to cut you off, I'm of the belief that yes, you should go out to vote, but we need to also look at the candidates that are running to vote, running for whatever office it is. So it has to be bigger than just going out to vote. We need great candidates to vote for.
Most definitely. And I guess with this election, you think that if we get enough young people registered to vote, enough black people registered to vote, that we automatically know what their decision is going to be.
Right.
And that's not true.
Exactly.
So informing people of the candidates and of the position, because just knowing a person is not enough. Knowing that they're good people is not enough. Knowing what the position is, and if that person is prepared and ready to work in that position is what's important. I got a good friend who's running for Supreme Court Judge, Latrice Westbrooks.
Okay.
And she's one of those candidates that I believe she's ready for the position. But a lot of people don't know what the Supreme Court does and how it affects their everyday life. So they got to hear that. So every time I'm talking to somebody about my friend Latrice Westbrooks, I'm saying, hey, make sure that you vote for it, and this is why you vote for it.
We need to have her on the show. We need to have Latrice on the show so she can talk about what it is she does, how it affects us, why it's so important to vote. I'm going to ask you this last question. What does it take, or what makes for a successful practice? What has made your business successful?
I mean, really walking by faith. You're making sure that you don't know everything. That's one thing I realized once I got into practice, just practice of law in general, is that the law is ever changing, and RAF don't know everything. So RAF gonna have to learn, and RAF gonna have to change with the times. All right, and always remember that the client is first.
Right.
All right, so there's some days where it may be hectic, but if a client needs me that they're not, and it's just pertinent that I need to talk to them, I just gotta get on the phone with them.
Right.
The client is first. The community is first. And you got to be able to change and move with the times. That's how we've done it. That's how it's worked since we've started. So,
gentlemen, can I get that outro put up there, sir? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Mr. Green, we are about to close out here. I would like to thank my guest, RAFAEL Green, Esquire, for stopping by today. For more information about Gilmer and Green Legal Group, visit www.gglegalgroup.com or call 769-208-8133. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Viral Stream TV, streaming the Tonya G Live Show every Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on BDAY 99.1. Also visit the kpgagency.com for all your final expenses. Shameless plug. Give me a call, 601-500-2751. I help people with insurance. We will see you next time on the Tonya G Show. Thank you.